How's it going, Tim? Aldo, Michael, good to see you. Everybody up nice and early. Hi, David, Dominic. Always good to see you guys. Oh boy. Um, Hi, Rustum. My wisdom. I was hope we're going to share wisdoms with each other. Um, Anyhow, uh, what I thought would be a good idea, but let me get started on something. And this was really a surprise. Hi, Abdul. Hi, Brian. How you guys doing? Thanks, Brian. I have no idea what it's like. I've got the morning sun as part of my lighting system. Let me show you guys something I got. I don't know if any of you are subscribers. I've been a subscriber to the New Yorker for years. Hi, Alex. 9/11. And it's to me, it's got some of the best writing anywhere, and I like to always improve my writing. But anyway, this is a special issue. This is their 100th year anniversary issue. Okay, and you're thinking, so what? Well, here's what I thought was interesting. It's got three covers. It has this cover and this cover and this cover. And what I found on the inside front covers of all three covers is an ad for Rolex. Okay, again, so what? Here's what was interesting. On the first one, they have something about the gears and so forth. On the second inside cover, they have their perpetual uh, their parachrom hairspring. And they have a big write up about it, starting with um, this is uh, what our parachrome hairspring looks like. Of all of the things they could have written about their watch, is waterproof, among other things. And then on the third inside cover, they have um, something about their flattened bezel, their fluted, their fluted bezel. Okay, this is all Rolex. Now, an inside cover is not cheap. Three inside covers on a 100th anniversary issue of a magazine as well known as the New Yorker is huge. And so I thought when I saw that, I thought that is very interesting. Um, why in the world would they do that? I mean, of all of the things they could, I just sort of laying it out there, not saying anything else. Okay, let's see how we can sort of stir up uh, knowledge about how you find the best deals. Um, One of the ones that somewhat surprised me, uh, what I did after I got this watch. Hi, Rancher. Um, was to hi Patel. How you doing? One of the things I did after I got my Mercator, I often do this in the opposite direction. Uh, Let me see if I can show you real quick here. And this is for finding good deals. I, One way is to do what I sort of call my inside out approach. And by inside, what's inside a watch, but a movement. So I start with a movement and then I look for things with a movement. And I found a great source for that. 1 second and I'll bring it up. Okay. Hang on a second. Okie doke. Hey, where's that? RPA? Here we are. Well, I'll be darned. What happened to it? Oh, wait, it's not Audemars Piguet. It's Jaeger-LeCoultre. 1 second, please. I think it's 920. I'll find it. Open recent. Well, okay. Hang on a sec. Let me make this bigger. Where'd you go? Here we go. Okay. Now let me show you this. This is when I got my Mercator. I found out that the movement in it was a Jaeger-LeCoultre 920. And so I went to look at the 920 to see what other watches, because I'd somewhere it said, well, this is also the base movement for, they only sell it to Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Vacheron Constantin. So I looked that up, and I think this is really sort of the key to sharing it. Now, right here, it says you have the, let's see if you guys can see it okay. Right here, it has the different watch movement reference numbers on this, the caliber numbers for Patek Philippe, for Vacheron Constantin, and for Audemars Piguet. And one way to find a really good deal on a watch is to start off with the movement. The same thing can be done going the other way. And let me show you one more, and then we'll talk about this some. Hang on a sec. Oh God, what's his name? Let's see, Polo Ralph Lauren. That's what I'm looking for. Sporting. Okay. Now let me show you. Here's another. I don't know if you just saw this or not. Okay, here this is a Ralph Lauren watch. Now most people say, "Oh, Ralph Lauren." It's look at the movement they have, though. It's called the Ralph Lauren RL 939, and what it is that it's based on it. In fact, totally based on the Jaeger-LeCoultre 939A. And so, really, I mean, if I think they have a funny name for the watch. It's called this. Yeah, it's called the Sportage or something like that. Let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Sporting. That's the name of it. Ralph Lauren Sporting. It's a 45 millimeter watch, and so it's this one right here. Sporting. What a name. Okay. Now, uh, that information in and of itself is part of so looking for information where other people don't look. I mean, why it's sort of like if everybody is going to the same place and you go to the same place, I mean, it's sort of like the herd all goes to the same place. You're not going to find anything new. And you're not going to find any good deals because if everybody goes there, more people want something, and the more people that want it, the higher the price. However, places where fewer people go, and you can, and again, looking for really real quality, really horological quality, that's where you find all the great deals. Okay, that was what I wanted to start off with. Okay, let's see. What do you got? Hey, Dominic. That's okay. Gonna look it up for you. Okie doke. What do we got here? Hey, Chili Badger. Rolex is the best marketer on the planet. Oh, well, I won't disagree with that. Why though? Of all of the things, they have this brand new uh, silicon movement that they have in a few watches, but not that they didn't go big on that one. But why didn't they say, "Oh, look, we got the silicon, this modern, wonderful hairspring"? Instead, they didn't. They went with their parachrome hairspring. It's about, I don't know, 20 years old or something like that by now. So I mean, there are all kinds of clues that you don't want to look sort of, I mean, ads only tell you something indirectly. Okay. They never, I mean, if you read an ad, they just sort of say what people want to hear. But the way to look at an ad is what else do they tell you that was not intended for them to tell you? But that thing with the parachrome hairspring, why are they doing that? Well, maybe that's something that they recognize that maybe people don't like the idea. They'll run out and get a smartwatch if we're advertising silicon. Oh, Abdul, they are spending from their saved F1 marketing budget and the LVMH taking over official timing. I don't know. It was HRM. I've managed to find some incredible deals by not caring about service maintenance history. Ton of watches are listed as broken, but only a couple minor things need to be fixed. That's another thing, HRM. That's another way to find good deals. Now, I'm in no position to fix something beyond winding it, okay? But one of the best deals I got, it was really funny. This guy had a Zenith, and I noticed that the size of the Zenith would fit about a 6-inch wrist. And so I knew it wasn't going to fit me, but I also knew it wasn't going to fit a lot of other people either. And apparently, the seller felt obliged to indicate about it was a metal bracelet that somebody had taken the links out of and made it small for themselves. So I offered a price half of what he was asking for and got it. He sent it to me. I took the old one off and put a new strap on it. It was good as new. In fact, it was better than new because the old one was sort of a ratty looking bracelet. But these are, like I said, the best way to find great deals is to find them where other people aren't looking. And looking at ads, you have to look at them in a very different way rather than take them literally. You take them what they can tell you about what's going on. One of the things I think, and I may be wrong, but it's something to take notice of. All of you are probably aware that Rolex, was it Rolex? Yeah, Rolex had just dumped Carl Bucher, and so they're going to make them. Now, this may dump the price on those things, or at least if you're any good at convincing people they shouldn't charge as much, if you like that kind of watch. But those kinds of opportunities come along. I got my Vacheron Constantin Easter America in 1921 during the Asian watch crisis, when China clamped down on the on bringing watches into China. So Vacheron Constantin, a whole bunch of other companies had been making a lot of watches with the intention of selling them in China. So what happened after the crackdown? A whole bunch of them came shipped back to the U.S., and that was when I got mine, and they had knocked off $10,000. That was, to me, it seemed like it was a brand new, and I still have it. So again, you're looking. It's sort of rather than looking at the picture, you're looking at all of the details and what they might be doing, what's going on those things. Anyway, so let's hear some good things that you guys have. How you doing, James Gary Hill, from a place I'm going to mispronounce in Quebec? Minus 31. Oh boy, that is cold. Here it's today we have ice and stuff. Oh boy, just got a notice on going to production. Whoa. Okay, what do you guys have? Graham. Hi, Fernando. Okay, let's see what you guys have. Hey, Killer Audio. Boy, this thing is jamming up on me. Hold on a second. Oh, Abdul, take the roads less traveled. Such a poetic way of putting it, but that's exactly right. Buying watches in markets where they are popular is also a great way to find a deal. Grand Seiko watches sell for very low prices in Saudi Arabia. Nomos watches tend to sell low in Japan. Good point. That's a very good point. That's exactly the kind of thinking, I think, where you can find some really excellent buys. How you doing, Killer Audio? You've been up writing code. I used to stay up writing code too. I really enjoy that. There's sort of a zen code writing you can get into. Hi, Jose. Which watch are you wearing? Okay, I have on my Roger Dubuis Monégasque. Okay. Now, how did I find this one? It was easy. I got contacted. A friend of mine contacted and said, "Hey, Bill, I hear you're interested in a Roger Dubuis." And he said, "I got this Monégasque for sale." They showed it to me, and this is exactly happened to be the one I really like. So that's another thing. Get to know other guys in the watch collection world. And you mentioned she had like a watch like this, and some guys, that's another great way to get a good deal on a watch, because what you're doing is you're sort of bringing in all of these people who have all of these watches. So many ETA in disguise with various rotors, making them their own house movement. I agree. Yeah, John, that's the other thing too you got to watch out for. Now, sometimes if you know there's an ETA movement, a couple things about that. First of all, tell them, see, I'm not going to pay that much for a watch with an ETA, but I'll give you this. And sometimes you can get really good buys that way. ETAs, first of all, they have four different levels of ETAs. There's sort of the ground level, the elaborate, the top level, and then the COSC level. And if you can find out which level of ETA, you can end up getting a pretty good one. The other thing is that ETAs are not bad. What the problem with ETAs is this, and I think you sort of said it very well. They're disguised as in-house. Well, why would they disguise it as in-house? Simply to raise the price. That's the only reason they'd be doing it. Does that automatically mean that ETA movements are terrible? No, some of them are really pretty good. Uh, what I found out, I got my Chomé Dandy Arty, but I got it because it has uh, a module by Agenor in it with two Agenais gears on in there. So, but then I found out, that ETA that they put in there is pretty good. Of course, with Chomé quit. By the way, too, Chomé quit making men's watches. They just make women's watches now, which is a shame, I think, because I really like my Chomé. And I've got to keep my mouth shut for Fernando about some other ones. He says, "Don't tell me when I want to get that one." My friend Fernando did get a Chomé Dandy. And have you ever recommended something and then you see it in the metal and you're surprised? So Fernando got a real good buy on it, showing me his watch, and I thought, my God, those are beautiful watches. Well, that, and I surprised at my own recommendation. I'll put it that way. And so, but there's I have a feeling that some companies like Chomé probably get the top grade ETAs, and some of the other ones that they're turning out in bulk, not so much. So that's my hunch on it. The ones who are lying about not lying, but they're implying that something's in-house. And this is IWC does this, Breitling does it. I think that's all that Tag Heuer does. And they do it simply so they can charge more. And that's what bothers me more than anything. So you want to find out about that. And then what you can do, though, rather than saying, hey, the heck with you, look, that's an ETA. I don't care what you call it. That's what it is. And so this is what ETAs are worth, and this is all I'm paying you. And I'm telling everybody else it's an ETAs too. That'll teach you. Killer audio. Okay. To actually contribute, if one is interested in independence, my suggestion is to look out for subscriptions, lower prices from a budding watchmaker who started to earn their stripes. Yeah, that can be difficult. It really can be, Killer. The reason I say that is that there are so many people out there with putting God knows what in there for movements and then having these wonderful stories about it. I know that sounds, the only ones to trust are the old school. Well, that's not true either, because they can, what's his name? Monet, something like that. The guy who is supposedly invented the chronograph. What's the name of that company? Something Monet. Anyway, I don't trust them a bit. So I don't care how old they are. I wish I was around when Ross was getting his start producing. Killer, I'm the same way. Got all of these great guys that I would love to get their stuff. Oh man, you guys have some good stuff. Benjamin, how you doing? Uh, I'm going to start looking at Japan and Saudi Arabia more. I'm surprised taste in Saudi are different from the wider watch world. Keeping it out for Berkshire Perpetual, for sure. Seen some sell for only 2,500 USD. Wow. You know, some people are they're gonna rush to unload those things, and it's too bad. You know, this is what I would like to find out too. Carl Butcher, the company, before they were bought by Rolex and then dumped, had bought THA. And THA was the company that was started by F.P. Journe, Vianney Halter, and Dennis Flago, something or other. So here you have these top watchmakers in their salad days. They started this sort of a cooperative group to make watches or to make watch movements, and they showed up in some places too. So there may be something I would like to find out. See if you could find out where, uh, which movements from Carl Butcher had help from the THA arm that they bought. Those might be some really nice watches. Hey, Damon, how you doing? On eBay and Chrono, negotiate best price on platform and then contact the dealer direct and say 5% more. Okay. Here's what you got to be careful about, Damon. Okay. Especially with Chrono 24. I think before you contact either one of those, you can go there and find out who the dealer is, but go directly to the dealer without even letting Chrono 24 or eBay find out about it. Because otherwise, I know a guy who got banned from Chrono 24. So because of what he would do, he would make these deals and then wouldn't buy watches and walk away. That's a little different. But that is a very good idea because there is some fee that they have to pay to either one of those outlets. And so, yeah, it's always a good idea. Hey, Patel, how you doing? HRM. Okay, any good ways to complete beginners? Rancher, the best Oklahoman. Good to hear. Now, who is the best Oklahoman rancher? Hey, Dino. What do you think of Bell and Ross watches? I think, Bell and Ross, this is interesting. They're owned by Chanel. All right. I don't know why Chanel bought them, but they did. Chanel also owns a hunk of Fenici, who makes the J12 or the 12.1 movements for the J12 watch that they have, which is essentially a Tudor movement. All right. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but I think that Bell and Ross are really ones to keep an eye on to see if they come out with something new and different. Where did the movement come from? Because otherwise they've been using ETAs and Solitas. So good one to keep an eye on, Tim. 50% offers are pretty good if the seller agrees. So 70%. You're right, Abdul. Butcher watches will be flooding the auction soon. Okay. Convinced my cousin to buy a Roger Dubuis Easy Diver 40 millimeter. Can't wait to see it in person. They're very good watches. They have wonderful movements in them. Good luck with that. I really hope he likes it. Roger Dubuis around 5K is amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, people have been discovering that we all ought to be quiet. We'll find one and not tell anybody until we get our mitts on it. Then we can tell people. Wow. Okay, 100 seconds slower. All right. Well, it needs some service. There's there are a couple different things involved in service. One thing is somebody who has the skills to do it, which is, believe it or not quite as hard. But the real problem is with parts. Now, one thing, you can send it in to um, Roger Dubuis, the company, because I think all of the movements that Roger Dubuis made originally, they still have, many of which they're still using in the watches they have. I, you know, the new Roger Dubuis designs, in my opinion, they're all skeletonized, and I swear to God, I would kill them if you had one that was easy to read the dial. But that would be a place to go. The other ones, they had, there are a lot of Roger Dubuis watches that just sort of weird looking, is all I can say. But they have sort of some really great ones. One of the ones I wish I'd bought a long time ago, but I waited until the price went way up, were the sympathies. The ones that had they're sort of squarish, um, and then they were sort of round, but then they had around the case, it had these little tips at the end. Interesting looking watch, and I should have bought one. Basic lack of maintenance. Yeah, that's Brian. That's what I was thinking of Louis Monet. His stuff. The guy brags about. Who's ever run a Louis Monet now? Maybe he is a relative or something of the original, but his stuff is like many different ways to cover up a movement. I'll put it that way. Vianney Halder, some absolutely crazy looking piece. Would love to have a piece. Yeah, Vianney Halder is really a cool guy. I met him and we had a talk. I The one that I made with Dominic, the resonance watch or resonance thingy that I made on this copper plate, and I'd taken a video of it that shows how the two balance wheels entered into resonance. And at this, Vianney Halter had just come out with sort of his stacked resonance, which was really cool. And so I was showing him a little video, and he was looking at it. He said, "Yeah, you were able to do it too." And he was very cool about it. I thought he was going to say, "Oh, huh, that's not real resonance," but he didn't. So that was sort of fun. Holy smokes! Uh-oh, it's frying pan time, John. Good grief, it is. Okay, let me just do a couple more. Then I'm going to have to scoot, and we can talk some more at 4 o'clock. Um, My biggest issue with Kinesi is still the fact that they don't supply parts for maintenance to third-party watchmakers. My local watchmaker couldn't even source a replacement. Indirectly, they're owned by Rolex, and that's Rolex. On the other hand, maybe through Chanel, if you had a like a J12 or something from Chanel, and they own part of Kinesi, that might be a way to go through it. But what other movements are they making beside that? I think there's Lang or one of those also has movements by Kinesi. Karim, that kind of, if you have anything that's over, like, I don't know, if you have the kind of offers I have, you get a note from Chrono 24 says, "Oh, that's way too low. That's way lower than what the person offering it has suggested." So what? It's none of your business. You're, between me and the seller. But I don't know, and you have to go through all of this stuff to give you an amount. It just, it depends what it is. That I think that any amount should be based on what you can afford and what you think that the person selling it would go for. If somebody has had that thing up there for years or months or a long time, they may be ready to more negotiate than somebody who just put one up there a day before yesterday. Yeah. Does Fortis? I don't think so. They might though, James. I don't know. Hi, Balina. Future surfability is always on my mind, but not the deciding factor. I'm with Abdul on that. I have an appointment at FP Jorn Boutique in New York City. I'm pretty excited to visit. There's a guy who is 8 feet tall named William. Cool guy. Give give William my regards. Okay. Yeah, hey, boy, finding that place, they used to be up on Madison Avenue, and then they moved down into the financial district. And this Mercer, I think, this little street down there. They're really funny. You go in there, they've got like a double door to go through. Mm. Eddie, you don't belong in London. Now you get home right now. I hope you're doing something fun there. Anyway, well, look, guys, yeah, it is time, frying pan time. I gotta run. Sorry, Eddie. I'll catch you next time, okay? Take care. Oh, see you guys at 4 o'clock, maybe.